It's on me. Ah, sorry. I thought that was your line.
One pass, two pass. Three pass. Four pass. Five pass. Six pass.
Stats might be useful for you to know.
Always to you.
We are playing in level 25 with blinds 25,000, 50,000. Funny fact, the starting stack was 50k. So actually we have one blind as a starting stack right now. We have 77 out of 1,498 players left, which means we are already in the money by a mile because 151 players made the money. You are guaranteed a prize of 539 euros when you bust the tournament right now, which we of course don't hope for all of these players. And the first prize is an astonishing 43,000 euros and a little bit of a tip for the winner. So that's what we're playing for today. And we can expect a lot of German players, of course, because it's the German Poker Masters. But because we are playing in Rozvadov in the Czech Republic, and Kings is such a popular casino, we can also expect to see a lot of other nationalities, like Redaroli in this seat from Italy. So let's watch the first hand. Actually, there have some hands. Some hands have been played. And right off the bat, we see an all-in. Right, that's it from the small blind, who shoved it right into the big blind. And his 15 big blind push gets through.
It's not so cool anymore, no? No, the right.
And obviously you have found this stream via Twitch. We are live streaming this on twitch.tv/pokerroomkings. Invite your friends. And there's a chat available for you as well. And I will be reading and replying to this chat as well. So feel free to join us to speak with me, with your fellow watchers, with your fellow viewers, and to discuss the hands, the players, the things you see, the weather outside, and whatnot. Because during a poker tournament, there's so much more to discuss than just the poker, right? So we're going to speak about all sorts of different things today. But what I'm going to talk about right now is Muzzi. Don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but he opens it from the cutoff with the Jack 10 suited. It's a funny hand. It's a good hand, medium hand actually. At home we call them the crackers because they crack aces pretty often.
Sorry.
And there are some
650. Yes. All right.
confusing things happening right here because Muzzi raised to 650,000, leaving through 340,000 behind. So he's basically all in. And that's what Duarte thought with pocket tens. He called from the big blind and wanted to throw open his cards. And, on this flop, 9-4-4, it's of course an easy shove for Duarte. And Muzzi has put himself in an awkward spot because with the Jack 10, he has nowhere to go because there's too much money in the pot. But he hasn't hit anything, of course. So knowing that Duarte has pushed, he's now almost sure that he is going to lose his hand. But he only has to put 340k more into the pot. And the pot has fallen significantly already. He's still thinking, which is weird, if you ask me. Wonder what he's thinking about. Might be some mathematics. It's early in the day of the tournament, early in the final day, so yeah, might be a factor in this decision. And the clock has been called, which I can understand because there's so much money already into the being put into the pot by both players that Muzi shouldn't have to take too long for this decision. Eventually he puts the money in.
That is it. I have nothing.
Did not really have a choice. And Duarte will be loving what he sees, because when Muzi thinks he might have 6 outs, he only has 3. Because his 10 is blocked by the pocket 10s of Duarte. Dealer proceeds with a deuce of clubs, and the river is a 3 of clubs. And the graphics are not off, so that means that the Jack 10 of Muzi holds. That is one sick run out.
Yeah, I mean,
Like the graphics showed, he had like 22% equity to win this hand, and
340.
that's not a lot. But it was enough for him in this case.
Nice one.
It was all in anyway.
Well, it was obvious I had a pocket pair. I called.
I knew that you have some pocket or something, you know? But even if you have
Pocket
ace
tens.
king, I have to call.
And he made a flush at the end.
While the dealer asks for the blinds, a new hand is about to be dealt. And, we saw some fireworks right from the bat in the first hand. That the first all-in situation we actually had was one in which the mathematics were in favor of the guy who actually lost the hand. And of course, that's not something you see very often in poker. So actually, you see it more that the guy who is in favor of the mathematics wins the hand. Ashi, Turkish man, folds the 4 deuce suited, which is a standard move if you ask me. And Duarte picks up ace 10 offsuit in the small blind, and he has 1.8 million. And might be good to tell you that the average stack is 972,000, which equals about 20 big blinds, which is not too deep. So we can see a lot of all-in situations, I think. And Mimi has defended his big blind. Actually, we have a lot of nationalities on this table. I saw a Turkish guy. We see a guy from Austria right now. And Duarte is not Italian, he's Mexican, actually. See in the flag. And this is a gutsy move by Duarte, who shoves right over the bat with just a gut shot. And it worked perfectly. Gets a quick fold and picks up 100,000 points extra, because that's what's been put into the pot by his opponent before folding. have an all-in by Predaroli, who is Italian in fact, so we do have an Italian. We also have a Romanian, which is Muzi, who we saw in the spectacular hand before. Made a flush with the Jack 10 suited on just a single club board. Just a single club flop. Went all in anyway and binged a runner flush for his tournament live, which is nice to do every casual time.
Re-raisel in 7, 8 pass. One pass. Two pass. Three pass.
Muzi shoved over the top of Jensel, who is actually a German. With the ace queen off, and Gensel has just a king that has been shown to the mic, to the cameras. And the cards are going on their back, so we're going to see what both players have. Of course, Musi has the ace queen, we have seen that. And Prederoli has pocket sevens, he didn't have a king. So, a flip for a 2 million pot, 3 million actually. And looks like the pocket sevens are going down. With the queen on the flop. Yes, they are. Musi has a spectacular start of the day. He busts Prederoli with the classic flip and has quadrupled his stack within 10 or 15 minutes, and that's kind of a turn of events. That's poker, folks. Good for him.
Six more and then 42, yeah? 43? No, 40. 40. Six more.
Seven pass. Eight pass. One pass. Two pass. Three raisel in. Four call in.
In the meantime, action again. Gensel has the ace 9 of diamonds and puts 250k, and that's all of his stack, into the middle. And Mirmi Keiza has shoved. Mirmi was actually the guy who shoved. He had the ace deuce shoved from the button. And Gensel called with the all in, and Sager folds his ace 5 suited. That's a good fold actually. We see what the flop will bring. It's a 6, 7, 8, 2 diamonds flop, which is perfect almost for Gensel. Mirmi still has chances on the river, but the queen does. The queen does improve him because he makes a flush. And again, we see a runner flush after just one suit on the flop. And again, it's the less strong hand that wins. If just this is the trailer of what's about to come today, then we are about to see a good one. Gensel busts out of the tournament with the ace 9 of diamonds. He flops a perfect flop, but has to face a runner flush being jammed right into his face. And that's an early leave of the day. We see a Slovakian Deset folding 9-7 offsuit. I think we have like 8 different nationalities at this table, which is fantastic if you ask me. That's what poker in Rozvadov is. Lots of different people from different nations joining this casino on the border of Czech and Russia, just into the Czech Republic. This table shows that it's true. Duarte Soto opens from the hijack to 180,000 and gets a call by Muzi. Blinds him are 40 and 80,000.
7 check.
Flop of ace 3-6,
175.
which does not improve Duarte. He's behind, but tough for Muzi to know that. With just king high, this is a tough call against a guy with a relatively big stack compared to the rest of the table. Does contemplate a call. Actually, he makes a raise. And this could do the trick as well, because Duarte has absolutely nothing either. And it works. The king 5 suited bluff gets through, and Musi is delivering the fireworks at this table. Keep your eyes on this, guys. On this guy today. Because he will provide you with fun. I give you that.
Prosím? Rozumím, pardon. Hraje. One pass.
Duarte wakes up with Queen Jack again. Has to think about the last hand, because the Queen Jack offsuit didn't work out well for him in that hand. Got bossed by his Romanian opponent, who went for it with the King 5 suited after flopping almost nothing. There he is again. This time he folds in the small blind and does it in the big blind. Good Slovakian player. Know the guy from playing myself in the Czech Republic. But he has no good cards, so he's folding the 8 deuce offsuit, which is perfectly fine, of course. And that means that the Queen Jack suited by Duarte doesn't leave him in the cold 2 times.
Two pass. Three pass. Four pass. 6. Resolen.
We have a jam by Sager, and Musi
7 pass.
has to contemplate a call with the ace 3 offsuit, but folds pretty quickly. And then it's Desit in the small blind with the ace 9 offsuit,
3 Resolen.
who re-jams, and Aschi in the big blind will probably fold his queen 7 offsuit, and he does, reluctantly though. So we're going to see 5 cards again. Jack 10 offsuit against ace 9 offsuit. Deset is a slight favorite, 56%, just a little bit more than a flip. And the flop changes that. Oh wow, and the turn changes it again in favor of Deset. So there was a quick turn of events. I couldn't keep up with it by speaking. Sager flops a 10, but Deset turns an ace, which is fortunate. And obviously he would have loved that turn. And he busts Sager. And so we see a few players already eliminated from this table. Yeah. For those of you wondering why I didn't reply to any of you busting the chat around already, we are having some small technical problems with reaching the chat from the commentary booth, but I'm sure they'll be fixed in a few minutes. So we'll get in touch with you shortly. And in the meantime, we have Musi, one of our most active players at the table, opening it up. Raises to 170,000 with the Queen Jack offsuit. And Duarte, to get these two guys know each other, he defends his big blind with Ace Jack offsuit, but is of course perfectly fine. And with the 7-6-5 flop, which is comparable to what we saw earlier when these two guys banged heads, I'm curious to see what's about to happen. Duarte checks his option. Which is normal because he defended his big blind. No need to let the pot brew already. Musi checks it back, which is fine as well because the 7, 6, and 5 fall into the range of Duarte a little bit more than it does in Musi's range. And Duarte does check twice on the 4 turn, which makes it 4 to a straight, and the board pairs on the river. So it's actually a kind of wet board, and I think it's a situation in which when either one of these two guys puts in any money, he will win the pot because the other one will straight away fold, I think. And Duarte is not going to do that, neither will Musi. And then it's Duarte who's going to take the pot with the ace high, which is obviously better than the queen high. Duarte picking up a 210,000 points pot. And in the left top corner you see the blinds 40 and 80k. Would be nice to see a small chart of the chip counts at this table, so we can see how players rank relatively to each other. The amount of players at the table has shrunk, obviously, because several players have been busted out already, and we haven't seen any new players being added to the table. Ashi picks up Jack 9 suited on the button, and he has only 10 big blinds, so that could be a hand which he decides to go with. And going with in this instance means not going all in. I think he just called the big blind, and that's exactly what he did. Wants to see a flop before he decides what to do with the rest of his money. He gets a call from Duarte from the small blind with Jack 8 offsuit. 9-8 offsuit. Ashi is far ahead of the 9-8. The Mirmi checks his big blind and he has ace 4. So he's actually dominated by Duarte. The flop improves Ashi, so he will probably start betting this, and I won't say anything about that anymore because that's exactly what he does not. Checks his option, but he does that out of turn because he's on the button, but it gets checked around. So we see a free turn in which a king of hearts falls. When it comes to single pairs, Mimi and Duarte are eliminated, and Mimi is eliminated in on any river. Duarte has 9 outs because when a heart falls on the river, he makes a flush with his 9, which should be enough, which is enough in fact. When it's a queen of hearts, actually he makes a straight flush to spice it up a little more. And on this draw heavy board, Ashi decides that it's time to bet. Curious to see what the other two guys, both with a heart in their hands, will do. Ashi picks up the pot. Both players decide their flush draw is not strong enough to call for a river. And, apart from our Twitch stream, we also are streaming live to Facebook. So if you are not that familiar with Twitch, or whether one of your friends is not that familiar with Twitch, you can also tell them to visit us at Facebook. And of course, we also will be looking into the chat over there. Ashi decides that the limping game he used the hand before worked out pretty well for him, so he decides to do the same with the king 8 of hearts, this time on the cutoff. And, we are about to see whether that was a good decision or not. Mirmi on the small blind has 8-7 suited, and he has 1 million in chips, and that is about 12 to 13 big blinds, and I can see what he does here. Thinks that Ashi is not that strong, tries to put the big blind out of the hand, and that is Wolf with ace-5 offsuit. That's actually a good hand, so this could be unlucky for Mirmi. And he's in a pretty good shape against the ace-5, but Wolf decides that ace-5 is not good enough for him to call, and that leaves Ashi with a decision whether to call or not with the king 8 of hearts. And I think he's going to fold this, which makes it a good move by Mirmi, and that's exactly what happens. So Mirmi was dominated by the king 8 of hearts, but gets it through with the 8-7 of diamonds, clubs actually, and that is a good example of power play.
Lines up, 50,100. Big blind there, 100.
In this new hand, we see Helwig having 8-9 offsuit under the gun, and he has 25 big blinds. It's a tough decision for him.
You're here to win. Huh? You're here to win, not to get 70.
Yeah, decides to muck. In the hijack, we see Ashi with the 10 big blind stack. The blinds have gone up to 500,000, 100,000. And Ashi has the king queen suited. And with 10 big blinds, that is a good hand to go with. But he could decide to go for the limp again. And it's not what he does, he raises. Neither one of the two options I discussed is chosen by Ashi, who has an unconventional style of play, you could say. He raised it to 275,000, leaves 670,000 behind. And we see Wolf having king 3 offsuit in the small blind. Probably gonna fold that if he folds ace 5 from the big blind, seeing a push. That's what he does. And that leaves just Zulberman in the big blind with the decision. And it's not one of a decision at all when you have 6-3 offsuit. And 24 big blinds. At least that's what I thought, but Zulberman gives it a little think before he does fold. And pushes his chips to Ashi. Andriaco says, and that means, by the way, we are able to see the chat. So let's get in touch, guys. I would love to spend time with you, talking to you, and, discussing hands and players and their emotions with you. And the first thing I'm going to discuss is Andriaco saying, I played Muzi, he's a very strong reg. I bet he is. I don't know the guy, so I can't tell you too much about him. But what I can tell you already is that he's playing a lot of hands. And this time he opens up 10-9 suited from under the gun. And he gets a call by Ashi with the ace-10 offsuit. Wolf folds the jack-10 offsuit. And Zulberman waking up in the small blind with pocket sixes. And I'm curious to see what he's going to do with this hand. Because all options are on the table. It's just the type of player you are and the way you think about the other players and the hands they have, which decides what you're going to do in a situation like this. And it looks like he's just calling. That is in fact what he does. So we are going to a flop three-handed.
3 bet.
And the flop is 9-8-7, which is a very good flop for Musi. Everyone grabs a little piece of this actually. All players flop an open-ended straight draw. And this could get interesting. Musi is the only one already with a pair to go along with his straight draw. This is actually a monster hand for him. Won't be going anywhere to any all-in. And he decides to check, which is an interesting move, considering the fact that he opened the hand pre-flop. Ashi puts in some chips, and he does that with some fears. Didn't seem to be hesitating at all. And Silberman facing a 245k bet with his open-ended straight draw. Let's see what he does with it. He folds the pocket sixes. And Musi, I think, won't be going anywhere. And this is exactly what I thought he was going to do. He pushes it all in and puts Ashi to the test. Does he want to go all in with his open-ended straight draw plus 2 overcards? And what he, of course, doesn't know is that he's only drawing to a split if his ace doesn't come off. Andriako says Musi is aggressive because probably he beats this field. That's actually a strategy lots of poker pros like to choose. Although there are some players who choose to play passively and just throw in money when they have already hit it, because they know the weaker players are about to pay him anyway. They don't want to bluff the fishes, as we call the weaker players. And in the meantime, Ashi is still thinking about what to do. Doesn't look like he's really willing to put in money with just an open-ended straight draw and 2 overcards. We have, like you can see in the top left corner of your screen, 31% chance of a split in this hand. And that is, of course, when a 6 rolls off. '86 Jano, don't know if I pronounced this right, asks who is the commentator. My name is Roy van Boven, and I'm from the Netherlands. And you're used to hear Henry Kilbane over here, but today I will be doing the commentary during the whole stream. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'd like to get in touch with you. The same 86 Jano says Ashi is loose, passive as fuck. Sorry, I was not allowed to cuss, but I did it. And it was not my fault, it was 86 Jano's fault because he was the one putting the words in my mouth. Just kidding. Loose, passive, yeah. For the ones who don't know what that is, loose passive means playing a lot of hands pre-flop, and passive post-flop, which means if you don't hit, you don't put in any money. And that is essentially what Ashi does it indeed. We're still seeing him thinking about what to do with this hand. Thinking out loud in the meantime. And he does call. Won't be liking what he sees, only has 14% chance of winning the hand. And that is, of course, by hitting an ace. Wouldn't be the first time today to see a bad beat being put on the table. Dealer knocks the table and puts a turn, which is a 7. It's an 8 actually. So that changes nothing. And the river is a 3 of diamonds, which makes Musi a happy man because yet another guy he faces is about to hit the rail. And this time it's Ashi, who played his ace-10 in the unconventional way. He played all of his hands, but this time it doesn't work out for him. And it does even better for Musi, who picks up 1.6 million in chips and adds that to his already big stack. And this is quite the start for him to this day.
He checked the flop he bet, and then he will raise it.
I wanted him to fold actually. I was like,
Eggs and Chips says, nice to have you here, Roy. Was a bit quiet recently. And how many people are there left? About the first thing, nice to hear from you, and good to hear that you like the commentary. The second thing you questioned was how many players there were left, and unfortunately, I don't know actually. I'm here in my booth, and I know as much as what you see. Of course, I am also provided with some information through some other channels. But that information does not provide me with the amount of players that is left so far. So I'm sure we'll be able to answer your question in a few minutes. In the meantime, we see Wolf picking up pocket 8, the snowman, as we call him. He decides to raise. Curious actually, what synonyms like snowman for pocket 8s do you also know for other hands? Because there are lots of poker hands that have nicknames. So for instance, the Rockets with pocket aces. I'm curious to hear what synonyms you guys know. So let me know in the comment section, in the chat, via Twitch or Facebook.
only 7 re-raise.
And Musi decides it's time to put someone to the test again, and he shoves with the ace-10 offsuit from the big blind. And Wolf, who has only 375,000 in chips behind, starts tanking, which is odd, considering that he has put in a lot of money already. And of course he calls after a while with the pocket eights. We are about to see a flip again in which Wolf is slightly ahead with 55%. You can see that in the left corner of your screen next to the whole cards. The flop is favorable for Wolf, 6 high. Turn is an 8, and that means this hand is sold. Wolf makes a full house, so known as a boat, and a little bit of a needle on the river with that 10. Musi needed an ace or a 10 to make a higher pair than the pocket eights of Wolf, but Wolf, once he did hit an ace or a 10, and he did that on the river, Wolf had already completed his full house, so Musi was drawing that already. That means a sizable pot is about to head Wolf's way, and he adds 775,000 chips to his stack.
5, 6, 7, 25.
Yeah. Andriaco, thanks for helping me. On the Poker Room Kings page, which you can find in your browser, pokerroomkings.com/index.php/home. you will see how many players are left in this tournament. There is a live update from the lobby, as we call it, and you can see how many players still remain. '86 Jano says, I'm not sure if Wolf was just mid-rolling or took TV time. I'm not going to go too much in depth about that one. I'm not a fan of both, but yeah, it was either one of the two. For those of you who do not have followed that link and still want to know how many players are in this tournament, I'm going to find that out for you. In the German Poker Days main event are 26 players left. We have an average stack of 2.8 million. And that means the prizes are going to go up quickly from now on. We are already over €1,000. And as we go on, that amount will rise quicker and quicker. Meantime, we see Zilberman opening it up with the ace-5 offsuit, and Dasset decides king-jack offsuit in the big blind is good enough to defend. And he takes the lead on the flop comfortably. Curious to see whether Zilberman decides to continuation bet or not. I think both options Zilberman has are fine. And he decides to go for the rather aggressive one, which is betting. He bets 320,000, and unfortunately for him, the asset will not be going anywhere with top pair. And in your left top corner, you see the payouts passing by slowly. And in the meantime, we have an all-in. Dasset pushes, and I think that is going to make Zilberman fold his hand, which is exactly what he does. And Dasset wins a healthy size pot by flopping top pair with his king-jack offsuit. Good for him. And Andriaco adds something that I've just found out as well, which is that the update you see on the King's website is 30 minutes ahead of what you're seeing on your screen right now and what you're hearing from me. And that's because this live stream is on a delay of 30 minutes, of course, to protect the hands of the players. Otherwise, they could be helped by friends being in the rail. So that's why we have a 30-minute delay. You can see the blinds are 50,000 and 100,000 on the live stream. And if you visit the King's website, it will tell you that the blinds are 60,000, 120,000, which is the case in 30 minutes. So the 26 players the website tells you that are left are not the 26 players you are seeing over here. because what we are watching right now is a little bit of a bigger field. That's it. Pushes all in from the big blind, from the small blind, with the ace-9 offsuit, and he pushes in 2 million in chips, and effectively he only pushes 1.8 million because Fischer in the big blind has less chips than he has, and I can see why Fischer is thinking about this one because he has an 18 big blind stack, which is pretty healthy compared to the rest of the table in the tournament. And normally when you are facing a push from the small blind, King 9 offsuit can be a hand in which you can decide to go with. But knowing that he has some better positions that are about to come, I can see why he's folding the hand this time. And actually, it's a good fold because he was up against ace-9, which of course he didn't know, but he was not in a good shape. So a good fold by the man we are seeing in the left bottom of our screen with the red hoodie. Now we see Wolf picking up pocket fours under the gun +1. Not the best position to pick up a mediocre pair, or low pair actually, like pocket fours. And he thinks about that the same way and throws away the hand. Andriako says Deset is also a top rack. That's the Slovakian guy you see in your screen in the middle right now with the hoodie over his head. I know him, been at the table with him too, and I can confirm this one. Did not know too much about Musi, but I definitely know that Deset is a strong player who will be waiting for some good spots to take chips from the weaker players at this table. Musi has opened it up with the ace-7 of hearts, and then Fischer decided to move all in with ace-9 offsuit, and Duarte folds king-queen offsuit, which is a good fold if you ask me. Strong hand. And also Musi quickly folds the ace-7 offsuit. Impressive fold by these two guys because obviously the ace-9 were ahead, but king queen and ace-7 are both hands in when you play 20 big blinds deep that are absolutely fine to go with normally. But maybe they picked up some read about Fischer. Would be tough because he's just joined us at this table. But good folds by the guys on his left and right. Gotta give him credit for that. McLean's 007 asks, are you also in Rozvadov with the Dutch Classics? If you're talking to me, then actually, yes, I am. Today I am live streaming from home. So I am not in Rozvadov. Will be pretending like I am. But when the Dutch Classics are in Rozvadov, I will be traveling to Rozvadov to do the live streaming. And I will cover the live stream on the 22nd and 23rd, which is when that's Sunday and Monday, which is when day 2 and 3 are, I believe. So yeah, definitely looking forward. I'm excited to be there and to get in touch with a lot of the Dutch poker players because the place will be flooding with Dutch poker players. And looking forward to see what we can do over there. Buckshouse, who is this commentator? Sounds like a wreck. Definitely not, man. Definitely a fish. Just talking about poker. I'm better at talking about poker than playing it. Just let me do my thing.
You want me to call him?
Which tournament is it? Asks Delu Bomba. It's the German Poker Days main event. Buy-in was 155 plus 20, and we had almost 2,000 entries, I believe. Let me check that for you. And we are down to the last 30, and that is what you're looking at right now. And the top player, the player who wins this tournament, will take home the big prize compared to the buy-in of 43,000 euros. And that is not what I'm doing this for, actually. I would love to take home 43,000 euros, actually. We had 1,498 entries, for those of you interested.
You would have called? In my position, like, I think I will.
Andriaco says Muzzy is online mostly. I think he started like a year ago to try himself in offline offline multiplayer tournaments. Well, he seems to be doing pretty well, at least in this one. I don't know what you know about his resume what comes to offline tournaments, but today is doing well actually. And how do you know Muzzy, and how do you know Desert? Because you seem to be well aware of what these players do and how good they are. Andriaco. Poker Pilot 1 says hello. Good evening to you as well. And nice, thank you for joining us. Hope you will be staying with us for a while. Always fun to see some new players, new viewers actually.
Blinds up, 60,000, 120,000. Six plus. Seven plus. Eight plus. One plus. Two raise.
Duarte Soto picking up King 10 offsuit in the cutoff. And lines in the meantime have gone up. In the left top corner of your screen, by the way, we see how many players are left in this tournament. And at the moment, there are 29 players left. In hand number 20 of the day. Duarte Soto picks up the King 10, opens it up from the cutoff. Blinds have gone up to 60,000 and 120,000. That makes Duarte having a stack of a little bit more than 20 big blinds. Zulberman picks up King 10 offsuit, the same hand Duarte has in the big blind. And he has 1.5 million in stack. And I think he is considering a jam, and I think I shouldn't think too much because that's not what he does. He just calls with the king 10 offsuit, and this is going to be a case of who wants the pot the most, because aggression will serve. And the flop is 5-6 deuce. None of both players improve, and now it's just a matter of betting and winning this hand. Silverman checks. Duarte Soto with a stack twice as big as Silverman's will be trying to take a stab at it, and you can't fault him for doing that. The pot was 680,000, and Duarte bets 300,000 precisely, and that will do the trick. Good way to show that aggression gets rewarded. Zilberman in the big blind doesn't do anything wrong. He just has to shake the hand of Duarte, who played this hand perfectly fine. And there we see our friend Musi picking up pocket tens under the gun, and knowing that he's been playing a lot, he will definitely be playing this hand. 2 black tens going to war, and Desert seems interested in playing this hand. And I can see why. He has ace 10 offsuit, but that is a good fold by the man under the gun +1. Ace 10 is a good hand, but senses something is off and folds the ace 10. Great fold actually when you're up against a hand like pocket tens, and at this stage of the tournament, these are the types of folds that can get you further on. Silverman folds his small blind, and we're about to see Helwig in the big blind with ace 3 offsuit. And he has about 24 bigs, and he folds the ace 3 offsuit. I see some pretty nitsy folds, if you will, but they're all good in this case. Musi takes it down with pocket tens. He has a rather aggressive image thing, I think, at this table, but people did believe him this time. Ace Hamilton says, Desert last week got third for 77,000 euros. Well, his face doesn't just tell me that he just won 77,000 euros. It's just like it's another day at the office for him. But 77,000 euros is an awful lot of money, which makes me think that he won that in the German Poker Masters tournament, which was last week indeed. And it was on the news, the poker news all over Europe, and I think all over the world, because Kings broke the record with the most entrants in a tournament that's ever been held in Europe. This tournament had a buy-in of 220 euros, just a little bit more than this one, and almost 7,000 players came to the casino to play this tournament, and that was because the gigantic 1 million prize pool was guaranteed. But because almost 7,000 players came to see and to take their chances were there, the prize pool got even more and bigger, and it was over 1.3 million. And I know the winner took home 1.8000 and another zero. Yeah, it was 180,000 euros the winner took home. And If you ask me, that's not another day at the office, and neither goes for 77,000 euros. But Desert seems to have forgotten that big cash already, and he is striving for another one right here in this tournament. And we'll see how that goes. Congratulations to you, Desert.
5, raise 7,
Pretty fortunate Slovakian grinder, I'd say.
6 pass, 7 pass,
And we see a chip count over here. And this is where we can see that Musi is the chip leader at the table with 4 million chips and 33 big blinds. We are not that deep. And all the players are in between 9 and 33 big blinds, between 1.1 and 4 million in chips. We have 8 players at the table, 3 Germans, an Israeli guy, an Austrian guy, an Italian guy, a Mexican, and of course the Slovakian we just discussed, which was Desert. Alat Band asks, what's the buy-in? The buy-in of this tournament is 175 euros. 155 goes straight into the prize pool. And that prize pool has swollen pretty big. And, these type of questions you can also ask our bots, and they will immediately respond to you. And you do that in this case by sending a message
7, raise 7,
into the chat.
I started in that as well. Then I busted. Then I busted at 17. 17. Not, 17. 17. 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
8 pass,
Musi
Make a break.
takes the pot with the king jack offsuit, and Desert shows him a king before folding. To get back to Ilat Band, asking about the buy-in, just for you and for the rest in the chat, if you want to know anything about the buy-in, the prize pool, the payouts, just put an exclamation mark following by buy-in. So want to know the buy-in, exclamation mark, buy-in. Put that into the chat, and our bots will provide you with all the information you need. And same goes for the payouts, the amount of players, entrants, as you'd like to call them. See, there's our Nightbot, and that's what you'll get.
zatím ne, ale průběhu studia.
30-minute levels, that's indeed how long the levels are, Ilat. Anything else we can help you with? No problem at all. Silent Sword asks Romanian or Belgian. I think you're talking about our Romanian friend, the big stack at the table. So yeah, he's Romanian. 86 Jano asks, so buy-in was 230 or 175? Yeah, I saw the Nightbot saying 230. As far as I was concerned, the buy-in was 175, but I'm human as well. So we'll get back to you about that one in a minute. Yeah, been looking it up for you, and the website says it's 175 total buy-in. 155 goes straight into the prize pool. So, Nightbot, get your facts straight. Thank you. I'm wondering whether any of the people that are in the chat right now have been playing this tournament. Tell me, how did it go?
Bychom to měli slyšet? Jo, to mi odpadl mikrofon. For pass? 6 pass, 7 pass.
In 10 minutes, we will be having a short break of 15 minutes. Grab a drink, grab a bag of crisps if you will. Sunday evening, why not?
8 pass.
And then after 15 minutes, we will continue this live stream until the very end. And in the end, we will see one lucky guy being crowned to the winner, as the winner of this tournament, winning the mere prize of 43,000 euros. And, I can't say I don't want to be the one winning that, because that is one nice prize.
You have? Ah, how I still have 6 to play. Yeah, but I have 10 big ones. And they want to trap you. Yeah. It's very strong. I had a phone from me.
Jacuzzi says, final table this event back in 2017. First ever live tournament. I will never forget this experience. No, I bet you won't. If you are playing your first live tournament ever and you will get to the final table, that is something you will never forget, because obviously you got to be lucky for that, unless you've been playing online for like a few years before doing your first ever live tournament.
I know you know, and then you will keep it like that.
But it's definitely some experience to reach that. Andriaco says, I got 80th out of 2,000 players about a year ago. That's a nice deep run, but I guess that is frustrating as well, because getting 80th will get you back your money like twice, but that's about it. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 3 times. Nice to get to the money and to get a flag in your hand and mob page, but when you are that deep in the tournament, you want to
8 pass.
make it to the big cash, right?
2 pass.
Ace Hamilton says, Nightbot gives info of the German Poker Masters. I think that's the case indeed. Like I said, just mentioned before, the German Poker Masters was last week. 230 euro buy-in, which an immense prize pool. And Kings broke all the records, bringing almost 7,000 people into this tournament that had 13 starting days, I believe, which is, I haven't checked that, but I think that's a record too.
Na 3 stole.
Musi takes down another pot with the ace queen suited. And, players seem to be scared away by the aggression of the Romanian rag, as I was being told.
6 pass. 7 pass.
Musi now folds 8-8 off from under the gun +1, which is fine if you ask me. And these pocket nines, I know them as the stars not, referring to the online game. But these pocket nines will not be folded. Duarte will play. And comes to my attention right now that he's still got his jacket on. I don't know where he has to go, but either he's cold or he has not that much faith in his game. Looking at the other players, I think it's relatively cold because everybody is armed with a hoodie, which is either cropped around their head or around their neck. Wolf being scared to give away anything. And he will give away his Jack 3 offsuit, Jack 3 suited, I think, because going to wall with those two cards is not something that he will be doing, I think. It doesn't strike me like that type of player, and indeed he folds his hand from the small blind. Silberman picks up King 8 offsuit in the big blind. Having just a blink more than 10 big blinds behind, this is kind of an awkward spot, and he decides that it's awkward enough to fold. And Duarte shows the pocket nines. I think he wanted more than just the blinds. Was willing to put some more money in.
You all in? No? Why not? Why not?
And I'm wondering whether we are going to see another all-in situation before the break. Had a few in the first minutes of this live stream, but ever since it's been a bit quiet. Players started playing a little bit more passive, and that paved the way for players like Duarte and Musi to pick up some extra blinds to add to their already impressive stacks. Wolf with the 10 big blinds picks up Jack 7 in the dealer button. Not good enough for him to go for a jam. And Zilberman with his 10 big blind stack picks up Jack 6 suited. And that is an all-in. He does not want to see a call, I bet you don't. And he won't be seeing one, because the 10-3 offsuit by Helwig in the big blinds is not good enough to defend.
You steered here?
Andriaco tells me day 2 of this tournament is a rather turbo tournament, and I believe that, knowing that we are just a little less than 20 big blinds deep in this stage of the tournament, makes me believe that you are kind of short on day 2 too. So it comes down to cards and timing. That's what Andriaco says, and that's definitely the case. You need some more luck when you do not have too much big blinds to fuss around with. Wolf in the cutoff picks up ace queen offsuit, and I bet you he will be going off to the races with this one, He wants to go off to the races. He has to find an opponent first, but he's not afraid to, I guess. And, when the blind's 60,000, 120,000, he commits himself to this spot by putting in 500,000 in chips. And Zubelman makes a good fold with the ace-3 suited. Snuffed out that Wolf hasn't been playing too much and won't be doing it with ace-3 offsuit. And Musi picks up pocket eights in the big blind. And I think that is a hand he will not go anywhere with. And in fact, he does shove all in. And I am wondering why Wolf hasn't already happily thrown his chips in. Because ace-queen offsuit is a hand
You can fold one time.
you cannot fold. Not in this stage of the tournament, not with this amount of big blinds in your stack. And definitely not when you have already put half of your stack into it already. And he does call, reluctantly though. And I think Musi will be a little bit surprised when he sees that Wolf has ace-queen offsuit.
And an ace, so it's good.
And an ace.
8-8.
Yeah.
Flop comes 9 deuce deuce, which does not help Wolf. And the 4 on the turn doesn't either. We need paint on the river for Wolf to be in the tournament for a little bit longer. And my prayers have been heard. We saw another all-in situation right before the break. Wolf busts out of this hand. Took a while to call with the ace-queen offsuit, and might even be regretting this move a little bit. Although we all know that he has nothing to be regretting this for, because ace-queen offsuit is of course too good of a hand to lay down in this stage of the tournament with this amount of big blinds in your stack. Jacuzzi says second times he has done it. Yeah, we have seen him earlier think about a rather odd decision
I know that
for a little while.
fucking start every time, you know.
Seems to be his type of play, style of play, to raise big and then think after your opponent jams into you.
You're doing good use of my chips.
Try.
Jacuzzi says, I busted my final table with 8-8. Today they hold every flip. Yeah, I bet they did.
It was just like a million.
We have seen some players getting lucky with eights already. And by lucky, I mean winning flips. Because that's what you need to do when you want to win tournaments. You need to win flips at the right moment. And that is so far what Mutsi's been doing. Because he's doing all right. Winning a lot of flips. Playing away other players. And Mimi in the meantime gets his all in through with the pocket deuces.
I didn't see that you went all in. I wanted to
Wishes
go all in.
with the 10 big blinds.
And I didn't see that he was all in, you know. Yeah.
Little conversation between the three players at the table. Musti thinking that there was no action in front of him. So he almost accidentally went all in himself. Andriaco says, Jacuzzi, you need to train playing all-ins. Henry would say that's a good strat. Winning all-ins and being good at winning all-ins, that is a good strat, would Henry say. And I can't say I disagree. If you want to win tournaments and you are good at winning all-ins, you are definitely one of the best, if you ask me. And I believe I heard the dealer announce that after this hand there will be a break, which will be, I believe, 15 minutes. Stay with us, grab a cup of coffee, a bag of crisps,
265.
or order something. It's not that late actually. You can still do that, I guess. And we will be back with you within 15 minutes with the full coverage of the German Poker Days final table after I think 26 players are still in, so after 17 players have busted out. And we will be with you the whole road to the final table and with the final table. But before we'll be there and before we'll get to the break, we might be seeing an all-in first, because Helwig raised it up with the ace-6 suited, and Dasset from the small blind decided to push it in with the king-jack offsuit, and Helwig folds the ace-6 suited with his 14 big blind stack, and that means Dasset picks up a healthy 5-ton pot. Good for him. And I see some check racks being put on the table, and that makes me think that the players are going to leave this feature table, and that after the break we will be accompanied by some new guys. And these chip stacks, remember them, because probably either one of these 6 players is going to be joining us at this feature table later on. And if we see them later on, the chance that their stack has grown is big. So for now there's a break, and we will be seeing you back in 15 minutes. Bye bye.